Hello again, nerds. We are doing some reactions today. Today we are reacting to Left to Suffer featuring King 810 and somebody named ScaryPoolParty. Is it another band? Probably not. Is it a vocalist? Probably a rapper, I would think. But I don't know. The only ones I know are Left to Suffer and King 810. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into quite a bit. The name of this song is Anon, as in anonymous, and Anon is the name of the song. I added that extra bit. Either way, we have this to do. Oops. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, technical issues. As evidenced by the fact that the Dubby pop-up is still on the screen. So let's just get that out of the way real quick, shall we? Dubby, channel partner here with Generally Nerdy. Dubby are the guys that do the things. They are an energy drink company. They have some canned energy drinks. If you are interested in that, go check out dubby.gg. They are still a fairly new company in the scheme of things, which means they are primarily doing their thing through the powders, which has honestly been super beneficial now that I've started getting a little bit deeper into my health journey, because I would rather honestly mix a little Dubby with some protein powder rather than do a pre-workout drink, because a lot of those pre-workout drinks are just trying to mess you up because they think that that will make you feel better about your workout, and it's not the way it works. Dubby, however, does a little bit more than pump you full of caffeine. What they in fact do is they have nootropics in their drinks that helps your brain function just a little bit better. It's come in clutch at the day job. Definitely when I have a long night of editing, when I have a lot of videos and things to get done, they are definitely where I turn to get that stuff done. But like I said, I've been recently finding if you get the clear protein powders, there's a couple of different wonderful flavors out there. They're basically you're making protein water with the clear, quote unquote, clear protein powders. You get a decent flavor there. There is an orange cream that I'm particularly fond of that I mix with my orange cream Dubby called Calio Dream is the name of the flavor. It's legit the way to go when you're doing a pre-workout, even when you're doing post-workout and you got a lot of stuff to do after you leave the gym. That little bit of caffeine helps. It's not a bunch of caffeine. It's definitely not G Fuel levels of caffeine. It's caffeine though, so if you're sensitive, be aware. But again, the nootropics do a lot as far as helping me stay focused and stuff at work and when I am working. So thank you very much for partnering with the channel, Dubby. Once again, dubby.gg is the website. Code Generally Nerdy at checkout is what you want to use to get your 10% off. That being said, we have our merch push this month. Is the Metal Nerd is coming to an end. We're going to do a surprise drop in a week or so. That will be up for a little while. And then this month's special shirt, I honestly haven't decided yet, but we have about a week or two before we get to the deadline for the special shirt announcement. So keep your eyes peeled. You did just miss last month's 10% off deal. It will be back, I'm sure, but last month's shirt will not be back after this week. So if you want your Metal Nerd shirt, actually there were 2 Metal Nerd shirts. If you want one of those, then you're going to have to get it soon. So go check that out, do the thing. Links, as always, are down in the description. So let's talk about this track. History, I did that again. We're not going to get into the history just yet. We have to get into why the hell you should care what I have to say. First and foremost, I'm a lifelong musician. I have been making music in some way, shape, or form since I was a very small child. Since I was approximately 4 years old or so. I am now 40 years old. So it's been a long time. So there's that. As far as being a professional musician for about 20 plus years, I have been getting paid to play music in front of groups. As far as being a professional producer for approximately 15 or so years, I've been doing that. And then as far as video production is concerned, I have been a video producer for a little over 10 years, probably more like a little over 12 years at this point. So yeah, I've been doing this a while. I'm fairly well versed and also pretty educated in the realm of both video and audio production. Also, I'm a big nerd. Like I'm very autodidactic, and this is just kind of what I would be doing anyway. So I figured I would be sharing it with you at the same time. So in this reaction, I am going to be talking over the damn thing. As you can tell by the fact that we still have not started the video yet, I'm probably going to ramble a little bit as well. That's kind of the way things go. If you want to check out the original video, please do so. Matter of fact, I kind of prefer if you have checked out the video before you watch my reaction to it. That way we have the same frame of reference, or a similar frame of reference anyway, because I have yet to see this video. So that being said, also, we're probably going to play a little bit of guitar over it just because it's fun to do some ear training all at the same time. So that being said, now let's get into history with the band or artist or whatever, ever. So my history with Left to Suffer is very surface level. I mean, I listened to their singles on the radio. I've never paid for their music. I've never seen them live. Just kind of like I'm aware of their existence, and I enjoy the music that they make from what I have heard. As far as King 810, this is not the first time they have come across a generally nerdy reaction. These guys are definitely, I've done a series of King 810 videos, so I'm super intrigued because it's been a couple years. I'm super intrigued to hear where they're at these days, how they're going to work their sound in with Left to Suffer. Is it just going to be the vocalist cat whose name I can't remember right now, or is it going to be the whole band? And then who the hell is ScaryPoolParty? Don't know. I've never heard of them. If we ever talk about them again, I'll have Wikipedia them, so I'll have a little bit more information. But as it stands right now, that is the history that I have with these artists. Let's now talk about expectations of the song/video. From the thumbnail. From the thumbnail, it looks like they're on the subway, so that's really my only visual expectation. And then performance things. There will be performance things, I'm sure. But as far as the song goes, Left to Suffer is very, very heavy. King 810 really kind of goes all over the place. Sometimes they're really heavy, like in a hardcore kind of sense of the word heavy, not in a Meshuggah kind of sense of the word heavy. But yeah, they're kind of like a nu metal band because there's a lot of like hip hop influences and a lot of rhythmic stuff going on musically. So, but that's not Left to Suffer. Left to Suffer is like metalcore, borderline deathcore stuff. I don't know. Maybe they are technically deathcore. I'm just not super well versed in their overall catalog, but. Yeah, so that's going to make for an interesting combination. And then ScaryPoolParty, I think, is potentially a rapper. Maybe one of those like in the vein of Suicide Boys and Ghostmane and that kind of stuff. So super intrigued by what that all implies. Expectations are something entertaining at the very least. So I think that's all we really have for expectations. Let's finally, I know somebody's going to be like, bro, it's been like 6 minutes and you haven't even started talking about the video yet. 8 minutes, as a matter of fact, 8 minutes and 28 seconds. So let's get to the actual reaction now. So jumping right in. So it looks like it's just the vocalist from King 810.
I should have known that you love my docile. Sit down, stay a while, but I'm fine. Everyone wants to be an internet person. Same things with some things that I post. Toxic and eliminate. Like a needle, take a needle, man. The thoughts of living doesn't end fuck. Because we all run out of luck. Tossed out like garbage and get fucked. It doesn't sit right with the monsters of my life.
I like dynamics like that. Rock-based syndrome for the performance might still be applicable, but for the production, it is definitely not. I dig it. I like it when the guitars dip out and you have a little bit of bass, because it just gives the song feeling. It gives the song character. It makes the flow a little bit more interesting. Wow, they're tuned super low, but I guess they are playing 8 strings. Oh, is that ScaryPoolParty? So is it like some sort of new version of emo? Or is he legit like a rapper that is also doing singing vocals on this track? Like, I'm still very confused about who the hell ScaryPoolParty is. And then that's dude from King 810. All right, let's talk about this vocal, since this is the biggest thing to stand out in this sound so far. Let's go back. That's some effects. Is that a double? Like there's a lot to pick through in there. So at the very least, we have a modulator and whatever's doing that bubbly kind of sound. So it sounds like there's probably two vocal tracks recorded here. One of them is just a straight track. The other one is the one that's been modulated down, or he did the modulation himself, like in body, if you will, in instrument. He modulated it himself, or it was modulated digitally. I can't fully tell right now, but then there's another effect that's been added for sure digitally that's giving it that kind of rolly, kind of distorted sound. That's super interesting. No, that is the bass interacting with the, like, sonically they're clashing, which is not a bad thing always. Sonically, the bass, that's what that almost distorted sound is. So there are just two different tracks here. Those two tracks, one of them is borderline whispered, so compressed to shit. Well, I mean, vocals in general are always kind of compressed to shit, but like extra compressed to shit, because in order to bring a whisper up, you need a lot of compression. And then the other one sounds like he's doing the modulation naturally, but is also kind of a whisper. And now we have, it's almost like a guttural, and then there's an extra scream layer for added texture, as sonic texture. I dig that. That's cool sounding.
Pussy.
I think Left to Suffer is a little bit more nu metal influenced than I originally understood. But I'm okay with that. I'm totally here for it. But we have that breakdown. What is going on with this breakdown? All right. So a lot of this breakdown is just drum as far as instrumental goes, because obviously we have vocals happening, and that's a whole nother layer. But as far as the instrumental goes, by and large, the primary sound you're hearing is drums, which not uncommon for a breakdown, especially a modern breakdown. But like, if you pay attention, you can hear guitar in the background. It's very, I don't know if I have an effect. Yeah, no, I don't have my megaphone effect on this effects loop right now, but it's effectively megaphone. Megaphone might not even be an accurate description. That's just kind of how I communicate it when I do that stuff. It's like an AM radio almost effect. So it's very that the balls have totally just been cut from underneath it, and it's all just the high end tones, and even those high end tones have been muffled. To again add texture, just kind of give this a little bit of layering effects, and it's working. I'm really still parsing out these vocals though. I'm digging it. So we do have some of the dudes from King 810 aside from their vocalist. Let's see. Let's break out this our fun little tool here. We have so this guy, and then it was this. We'll actually just go back. Let's clear this. Boop. We'll go back and see this crowd of people involved with the making of this song. Right there. So all the dudes with where are we? This mask here. All of the guys with that mask, and then homeboy here. Those are all the King 810 members, as far as I know. Though, I mean, each time we see King 810, there's kind of a different, and there's another cat over here. There's kind of a different lineup. I think primarily it is vocalist dude and then like the drummer or something. Somebody please correct me because I know I'm wrong. But like it's like him and like one or two other dudes always, and then they have different musicians depending on the iteration of what music they're doing on tour, what the most recent record requires for musicians and stuff. Almost like a collective to a certain degree, but I probably not. I'm very, very likely probably wrong. I'm very curious because this is our Scary Pool Party right here, right? This guy right here. That's our Scary Pool Party. Sorry, my hand's not super stable right now. And then I'm wondering if these other masks are his band members, or if those are just more of the King 810 crew, or maybe they're part of the Left to Suffer crew. I don't really know. Either way, this one's a little bit of a mixed bag as far as my enjoyment goes. We have a little bit left, so let's finish it out. And then that's it. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back to this real quick. We're gonna talk about our final thoughts. So it's just not a whole lot of complexity as far as like the actual notes written. We got some interesting dynamics, which are always welcome, but largely, as is kind of the case with most aggressive music, we have some rock bass syndrome as far as the performance goes. Bass players basically just playing the root notes of all of the chords. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. Just generally, I tend towards bands whose bass players are a little bit more active, or music, I guess, with a more active bottom end. As a bass player myself, primarily, I mean, I do the guitar, obviously, but bass was my first instrument. That's probably a big part of the reason why. This is, again, it's not anything I'm going to turn off if it comes on the radio, because I'm sure it will find its way onto liquid metal not too far off. I don't know. The inclusion of King 810 is a really interesting situation, just because, like, I had to find legitimately. I found King 810 through Finn McKenty, and kind of fucked that guy. But I did find a couple of bands, literally like King 810 and maybe two other bands. By watching Finn's videos back when I believed he was actually a legitimate person and not just a bot in human flesh. So I like their inclusion in mainstream music, even though metal is not mainstream necessarily in America, like it is growing in popularity again, which is wonderful. King 810 is even kind of outcast among outcasts. Partially due to they're fairly extreme in their content, in their lyrical content, which, you know, art is art. So, you know, it should reflect what you need it to reflect if you are the one who is creating it. But like that tends to leave them out of the conversation for a lot of people. They're from Detroit, they're from Michigan, rather, if I remember correctly. I just don't remember exactly where in Michigan. Probably Detroit, but I don't know that for certain. Maybe it was Illinois, and they're from somewhere near Chicago. I can't remember, but it's somewhere like that. And so again, like you're looking at Rust Belt stuff, and the Rust Belt bands are not generally widely accepted in the mainstream conversation. Just kind of is what it is. I know somebody's going to pick out the half a dozen exceptions to that statement, but by and large, those exceptions are what proves the rule, right? So I don't know, maybe this won't find its way up onto Liquid Metal. It is Left to Suffer though, and they do like to play some Left to Suffer up there. So I'm really intrigued what the future of this track is. I dig it to a degree, but I'm probably not going to spend money to listen to this. Like listening to it on YouTube is good enough. I'll give them some plays, Spotify ways too. I'm sure it'll come up on some playlists, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think it might've been the Scary Pool Party cat that killed it for me. Honestly, I don't know. I would still see King 810 live. I would still see Left to Suffer live. Just hopefully they don't play this song. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Thank you very much, nerds. That's where we're going to end this reaction. I appreciate your faces. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to check out w.gg. Code Generally Nerdy at checkout for 10% off, and also the Nerdy stores linked down in the description so that you can get some nerdy merch that I'm honestly pretty proud of. So you should rock it for me and promote it. And if you enjoy the show, tell everyone you know, because that's the way this kind of stuff grows. I appreciate you, nerds. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.